Hi. Well, I guess better late than never. My name is Teresa Micheletti, and this site is called Take What Rings True. And today I want to talk about changes that are coming. And let me make sure I have sound on. Okay. Okay. I said my name is Teresa Micheletti, and I've gathered this information from channeling myself and from trance research classes where my friend Sylvie Brown would go into a trance, go sit on the other side. Her spirit guides, either Rahim or Francine, would come into her body and give us information. So that's a full trance medium. And when I channel, I channel from the higher realms, and I'm still here. So also, I have some information from an angel channel, Ann Tucker, and I'm using all that information to give you answers to questions that people posed a couple of weeks ago. So, as with all channeling and all psychic information, when a question is answered, it's answered from that point in time. And the most likely possibility or probability is what's given. For example, in 2004, or from 2004 to 2011, we were supposed to have the shift, and it didn't happen. For years before that, Rahim, spirit guide, would come in, mostly Rahim, sometimes Francine, would come in and talk about what changes were going to occur during the shift and what to expect. And then all of a sudden, that probability was wiped away. So we have a new probability. And the angels say that it is happening. So we are going through the shift this time. So my answers are from my perception and from gathering the information that I've gathered along the way. So the main thing to do with the shift is just go with the flow, because our normal will not be normal anymore. It'll be a new normal. So, a quotation from the angels: we are beginning our new adventure, shifting to the new dimension. Keep planning and moving forward. The ways in which things work may change, but the energy of our desired plans move forward. So don't stop your life because we're shifting. Keep moving forward, because you're bringing that energy into the new dimension. So if you want to write a book, write a book. If you want to start a new job, a new business, do that. If you want to travel, do that. So do what you're doing and don't stop your life. But you'll notice physical changes, mental changes, because the angels have been coming into your body. If you have chosen, your higher self has chosen to go to the fifth dimension, you don't even have to worry about it. Then the angels come in and change your body a little bit and then go out. Come in, go out. Come in, go out. You've already given permission for yourself to shift to the fifth dimension, or whatever we're calling it these days. So I want to give you some answers to some questions that people posed, and then I want to talk about what feelings, what changes physically and mentally you can expect during this shift. So, questions. Question number one: do you see a time approaching in the next couple of years where our power grid goes down in the United States? So I saw a map of some places that will go down and some places will not. And it would be because of a solar activity, like solar flash or whatever they are called. But it may also be attacks to infrastructure. They're two different issues, but both of them can bring parts of the power grid down. So the highest probability is there's going to be a solar event. It's not everywhere that's affected. It's partial here, it's affected, there it's affected. And this has happened in the 1800s. this happened. I think it was 1800s, and like all of Canada went down. So they have a special EMP deal with their electricity to help keep everything up in a kind of solar event. So, next question. Will our banking institutions fail? Not all of them. There will be restructuring. After the shift, there will only be a few banks, and the economy changes more to bartering. But some banks will fail when the internet goes down because there's supposed to be a solar event and the internet goes down. So, the question number one, I was talking about the power grid. Well, some places the internet's going to go down. So, that means that some banks will not have their records. And because they won't have their records, you need to make sure you're keeping an actual physical bank statement so that you can prove you have money in that bank. So when the internet goes down, some banks and some institutions will lose all their records. Rahim, the spirit guide, predicted that, and I see it also, that the banks will be affected by leaders who want power and keep some banks from reopening. So you need to be able to keep cash on hand and a paper copy of your bank statement. You want cash so you can get groceries or you can get whatever you need for a little while without having to go to the bank and get your money. So greed is likely to keep some banks from opening for a while or reopening for a while. So I believe banks will go down during a solar event. I don't know if that solar event is also part of the 3 waves of light. There's 3 waves of light, and it's supposed to be a solar event. The first one, at least, is a solar event or connected to solar. And there's a wave of light that goes and affects everyone on Earth. Everyone on Earth can feel it. And that's the first real sign of the shift because everyone will feel that wave of light. And it's not hurtful to you, but you may feel discombobulated. And some people may start freaking out because they don't know what's going on. And so, light workers, you can explain that it's okay. It's just a shift in vibration. Of course, some people will not take that well, but that's okay. So, in the next few months, I believe this first wave of light is going to come. I don't know if that coincides with the event that brings down the internet or affects the infrastructure and the power grid, but just be prepared. So my feeling is make sure you have water, because if you have some water stored, because some water companies depend on electricity to pump the water places. So make sure you have some water stored. All right. Okay. Cash on hand is good to get groceries and whatever else you need. Next question. Will the same thing happen with food and medication, not just money? So the angels have predicted already that the earth is shifting also. It's we are shifting and the earth is shifting. And there will come a time, I don't know if it's because of volcanoes or storms or whatever, where the infrastructure in regions are affected because there's no transportation, or at least the transportation of goods is affected. So you remember during the pandemic how, there were empty shelves. There you could still get some things, but there were empty shelves. Well, the problem in some areas is there's going to be a food desert. So if you live in an area where you only get food that's delivered, maybe you live on an island and food only comes to you through delivery, then you may have great difficulty getting food. So maybe you need to keep a bag of rice and a bag of beans on hand, or maybe seeds for microgreens so that you can grow them inside and have some vegetables. And this will be a period of time where you can't get food if it's transported in. So maybe a little garden or, those fluorescent light inside gardens where you can grow things inside. But um, rice and beans is fine. And the most important thing, I think, is clean water. So please store some clean water. Now, the angels have said that it will be a season that we'll have trouble growing food. So if you have a season without food, then what would you be eating? You would be sharing with people around you. Maybe you have some beans and rice, but that doesn't mean that there isn't food stored in grocery stores and warehouses. It just means it's going to be difficult to get food in some areas. If you live in an area where food is grown, then it will be easier for you to get food. Now, will weather fluctuations keep getting more bizarre? Yes, because the earth is resetting and we are resetting. And that's what's supposed to happen. The earth needs to be cleansed for the new dimension. So, obviously, volcanoes and earthquakes help cleanse the earth. And the fires and the floods, they're cleansing the earth. They're also catastrophes for us, but they're cleansing the earth. So we cut down the rainforest. That's not very happy occurrence for the earth. So we're part of what the problem is. But just know that if you just do minimal things like keep some water, just have a little bit of backup food, I think you'll be okay. And, have some cash on hand. Next question. Will our government continue as it is, or will they shift soon? I don't get their shifting soon, but most governments are shifting. I've talked about this before, that the United States government will shift, and Raheem predicted that there will be a 3-person executive eventually. And I'm getting that that's not going to be immediate, not soon. It's more like 3 or 4 or more years down the line. But it's kind of hard to tell time. It's like a domino effect, what happens first, and this needs to happen, but that's delayed, etc. Meanwhile, there's going to be infighting in the United States. Looking at other governments, the same thing. There's going to be restructuring. And you can already see the infighting in government now in the United States. So one reason is people's true colors are coming out. If they're not working for the people, they're working for themselves or their point of view, and they don't care what their electorate believes. And many are being greedy. They don't really care about the people. They care about themselves and keeping their power. So they're not doing what's appropriate for the people, their people that they represent. They're not concerned about the greater good. And that's what's coming out. They want to keep their job, so they're fighting for their job. So I see a lot of the government just falling away. If you think of the legislature, I see it like crumbling. And I can see legislators just crumbling away. So that's a metaphor, obviously, because I doubt they're actually going to crumble. But I don't know the time period for that. And it depends on what happens first, what happens second, what happened third. So just beware. We will get through this and it's okay. And if our government restructures, that's okay too. It's not your fault. And don't feel bad about it. It's just something that needs to happen. So Congress and governments are going to become less effective, and a lot of states will have the same thing happening in their states. People are having a mindset of, I want to keep my job, and I want to keep my job, and I'll do anything to keep my job. And then things are falling apart in the federal government and state governments. And around the world, things are reevaluated and restructuring as needed. Next question. Will there be any changes in the future for the United States border? Yes. I see a big probability of at the end of the shift, there is no border. It's not like United States and Mexico. It's just like people. And that it's a more fluid border. But and I don't know I don't know if that's 3 decades from now. I don't know when that is. But I do see a border shift. That's like a wavering line between the United States and Mexico, between the United States and Canada. And at one point, I see there's a big flux of people going across the border at Canada because of some event like a earthquake or a disaster of some kind. Um, so, and the angels have said that people are going to be moving. And I just talked about food deserts. So people are likely to be moving because they don't have food. So they're going to go places where there is food. Well, obviously, we're the breadbasket for a lot of places. We send out food to other countries. And so we're likely to be one of the places people come. Not to say that, Chile grows food, Mexico grows food. So they'll be going to places where they can get food, but there may be other reasons people are leaving. There may be more earthquakes, more floods, more whatever, and people need to move. So there will be a movement of people, the angels say. So I don't believe it'll be a big problem when we have shifted because I think people will just get along. There will be more regional governments and people won't be so worried about the borders or even the state borders. So I don't know if this electrical, political, or earth structure, but things are changing. And I'm not sure about all those changes, but things are changing. So the shift, the question is, how long does in our time this third dimension earthly life, okay, how long is this shift? Is it a temporary thing? And how long in our years, or does this continue until we supernova? No, it doesn't continue until we supernova. Well, it does in a way. We will have a shift. We will have a time period where we experience more heaven on earth than we did before. I'm getting a message that says can't post comments to some destinations. All right, whatever. Anyway, okay. So when the shift happens, the people who've gone to the fifth will feel more like heaven on earth. And that's the fifth dimension. The angels call it the beginning right now, or the void. And they've been working on creating this dimension. And I believe it's in a time period that we can experience. But there's going to be 3 waves of shift that I know about. And the angels have talked about the first wave coming up. And I believe it's at hand in the next couple of months, next 3 months at least. And people have already felt changes in their body, like they want to sleep more. They easily lose their balance. When you're walking and it's like the earth seems to have moved and you put your foot down, it isn't where you thought it was going to be. That's the unbalance I'm talking about. You can be more irritable. You can be confused. You can have fog, like brain fog. It's like, what was I thinking? What am I doing here? So it isn't always a medical or body problem. It can be internal shifts that are creating these feelings. So, and that isn't really a problem, but it's the angels coming into your body and helping you shift a bit and going out, coming in, shifting, going out. If your higher self has chosen to shift, and it's okay if you have chosen to stay in the third dimension. If you want to continue experiencing and having karma the way we have been, that's fine. Then the angels have said they're going to support us whether we stay in the 3D world or we go to the new dimension. And whichever one is fine. If you're listening to this, you're probably going to the fifth dimension. So some people have chosen to go to the fifth, and their higher self has already decided. You don't have to do anything. You're just shifting. What you need to do is go with the flow. So how long does the shift take place? I don't know. I believe it's in our lifetime. And it's like the rest of the earth's life before it ends. It's through the rest. I don't understand what this question was. Let me see. Okay. So if you're shifting, you're going to shift for the rest of your life, and you'll be on earth for as long as earth lasts. And I believe the ending part of earth, the earth's existence, with humans on it, is going to be peaceful, like the Pax Romana, if you studied that in school. A period of peaceful times, but more feeling of heaven on earth. So before the earth stops existing, there will be a period of peace, a period of calm, a period, I believe, in our lifetime, but it depends on, what lifetime we're talking about. If you're 98, maybe it's not going to be in your lifetime, although you could be 17 and it's still not in your lifetime. It depends on how long you're going to live. But I believe our generation, many generations that are living now will experience this shift and heaven on earth. So I believe it's going to be our time period. Now, I've already felt the beginning of the first wave. I've had an experience where it came like in sight, in my, third eye sight. And I've already been in the tsunami. There's a tsunami that's supposed to happen. There's going to be an earth rift in the Middle East, maybe by India. And a tsunami takes place, and water goes everywhere. Water goes up into the atmosphere and helps to fix our ozone layer. That's the angels have told us. But I've been in the tsunami for 3 days. I felt like I was in the tsunami, like in the water, experiencing being in the water. So I believe it's going to be in our lifetime. Okay, so when that 2004 to 2011 period was bypassed, and that was a 7-year period. So 2004 to 2011. So maybe it will take 7 years, or maybe not. So Rahim used to describe it in trance classes, the shift, as we won't have as much, but we will have things we need. People will share. People will be feeling more in community. There will be somebody who knows how to plant things. There'll be somebody who knows how to sow things. There'll be somebody who knows how to, create solar. And he suggested in that time period that we get those power banks that are solar power banks, and those can be used for electricity. Now, I don't know how long electricity would be out. If it was in your, not all regions will feel this. Some regions will need power, or maybe you're just using a little stove to cook on, those camp stoves. Or you can just build a fire out like a campfire. That was used for thousands of years, and that works too. But I don't know which areas will be affected and which areas won't. But I do know that people will cooperate and come into community. I don't know if you remember, after 9/11, people felt community minded, and they were more likely to help each other and more cooperative. And that's the starting of that feeling of being more in tune with each other. So when we have the shift, we will communicate telepathically. So you know what someone else is thinking, someone else is feeling. You're more empathic. And that's why world peace will start, because you know what the other person is feeling. You know they don't feel valued. You know they don't feel heard. You understand how they're feeling. So that's one reason the shift will help bring us to peaceful times. So this is a different scenario, but it's the same shift that was discussed in Journey of the Soul books that Sylvia wrote about cataclysm. But this time, California's not fallen in the ocean, and Lemuria's not coming up, and Atlantis is not coming up. But in this scenario, this shift that is coming, the angels say we're already started. The current generation will be in that shifted period, I believe. I don't know how long it's going to take. But to me, it's like dominoes. This happens, then this happens, and this happens. And Mother Earth is the one that decides. She decides when things are going to happen. So, in a human frame of mind, you could kind of think about that Mother Earth's deciding, okay, there's going to be a shift now, or there's going to be an earthquake now, or there's going to be a whatever. So angels see many probabilities. And so they know what is scheduled to happen and what Mother Earth has allowed to happen. And then they know the domino effect. Okay, when this happens, then this will happen, then this will happen, then this will happen. And they know the possibilities that could go from there. You know, like the road less taken, there's forks in the road. But the most likely thing that will happen, and they know the things that are destined to happen. So perhaps it'll be a decade of shift. I don't know. We will see what happens. But just be prepared with the little things. Make sure you have some water, make sure you have some cash, and that's about it. You know, your bank statement. And then just go with the flow. Things are changing. Just watch it. You chose to come down here during this time. You chose to be here. And most likely you chose to be here so you could help other people to experience and not feel bad about, oh, these things are changing. Why are they changing? So take a breath. We were told, breathe. Just breathe and allow. Breathe and allow the things to change. Okay, one thing that's happening right now is emotions coming up, because you need to get rid of all the things you're holding, because a lot of times we stuff things in our body. It's like the bully that you had in middle school, you know, all those feelings of when you see the bully, when you think of the bully, you stuff them inside and then you keep it in there. And in NLP, the neuro linguistic programming, hypnosis, they ask you, where do you feel that? Well, that's where you've stored that energy of, I don't like that bully. That bully was mean to me, all that stuff. Well, you need to like recognize, okay, I'm having this emotion again. What is it connected to? It's connected to the bully. All right. I need to examine that. I need to get rid of it. I need to go kick a box. I need to go scream, primal scream. I need to cry, whatever it is, and then let it go. Been there, done that. Don't keep re-looping that information. Let it go. You need to let some of those things that you're stored, those emotions and those feelings, let those go so you have space to raise your vibration. It's like you have to let go of some of the yucky stuff so that you can take in some of the positive stuff. So stop holding on to those negative emotions. Examine them, feel them, let them go. So there will be a period of time where we come to peace. So you want to get there. You want to let go of the stuff you don't need to hold on to so that you have space to bring in the wonderful stuff that's coming. So, next question. What do you know about ETs living on this planet? Oh, okay. So I know a very famous speaker that spirit guides told us that this person is an alien that came to live on Earth. So I know aliens are living on Earth. I've seen one, if you've listened to me before, I've seen one that came into our church. And this one was not living here, but just visiting. And they had like Brillo hair and walked with a shuffle, and had like dowdy clothes. But most of them aren't here for that. I do know that when I've been in Las Vegas, I can see aliens through the veil. And you know, what is it, Area 52? There's places in the airport where planes go off every day from the airport in Las Vegas to that area. So there's more about the aliens than we know, and the government's not sharing everything. So also, we do have aliens that are with us, who are in government, they're in art, they're in dance. You may think of some of them as itinerants, but many of them come to visit just to figure out how we're doing on Earth, because those planets populated Earth at the very beginning of our existence on Earth. And so it's like they're checking out their relatives. They're checking on the ancestors to see how they're doing, what's happening. And take it if you don't believe it, fine, that's fine. Just let it go. That's not important. I remember at one point, Francine, spirit guide, said that people were getting sick in Florida and the hospitals were having trouble because they were doing infusions and the people's blood was alien blood and it was making them sick. So my phone's ringing, but we'll ignore that. So there are angels called belted angels, and those angels help to make sure that aliens are not interfering with us or interfering with, okay, good, or interfering with Earth. So we signed up to experience this point in time and to go through the shift. And this kind of shift has never been successful before. So aliens are coming to our planet, especially aliens from planets that came and helped to populate our planet. Aliens are coming and trying to fix us. And so the belted angels arrive and prevent them from fixing us, because they're not supposed to be fixing the earth and they're not supposed to be fixing us and our society, because that's not their job. So the belted angels keep them from interfering. So I know that aliens are being prevented from interfering with us. So I like the belted angels. I've had them. If you've listened to me before, I was trying to heal somebody, and she has a special mission. And the belted angel came like right up in front of me. And then I realized, oh, that angel has a belt. Okay. I'm asking for something that should not happen because it interferes with this person's mission. So now I'm very careful about when I'm working with her. If it's appropriate, please do this. Or if it's appropriate, I'm going to do this. Anyway, okay. Another question. Will robots take over the workforce? How will us humans live? Okay. They're not going to take over the workforce. It's the same as during the industrial age when people feared that we had machines and nobody was going to have any work anymore because the machines were going to do everything. Well, you still need someone to program the robots. You still need someone to check and make sure they're working correctly. You still need ordering things for robots. Um, and besides, when we go through the shift, we're not going to have as many robots. And doctors are not going to be taken over by robots, although I've had surgery where a robot helped assist them in surgeries. So there will be robots that will be helpful, but the whole world's not going to be taken over by robots. So we won't have as much stuff anymore when we go through the shift. I remember Francine saying, people who are fashionistas and always want the latest fashion are maybe not going to like the shift, because in some areas you may not be able to get fancy dancy clothes. So we will have hospitals, we will have food, we will have necessities, but maybe not the kind that we're used to right now. And that's okay. It will be a simpler life, we're told. So we'll see what happens. Go with the flow and expect things to change. And it's okay. So, another question. What will we do as things change while we're waiting? Well, we're going to go with the flow. You don't have to do anything. What you need to do is take the unneeded thoughts, the unneeded emotions that you've stuffed. When they come to the surface, examine them, feel them, and then let them go. You don't want to keep holding them in your body where they keep looping up and going, that bully, that bully, that bully, that mean person, that mean person, that mean person. Stop replaying all that stuff. Look at it, feel the emotions, and then go, okay, past history, put it in a book, put it on the shelf. I don't need to hold on to it anymore. So all that stuff is coming up. You need to look at it and then go throw a pillow or kick a box or cry or whatever you need to do. But bring the junk up so you have space to allow the positive to come in, and you can raise your vibration. So raising your vibration is what's going to take us to the shift, to the next level, to the beginning, to the new dimension. So we have space to accept the wonderful feelings that are coming in and shifting our frequency. So let go of that negative stuff. Don't hold on to it. So one person I know drives, and under the underpass, she does a primal scream to get rid of her emotions. All right, next question. What do we do to help facilitate this raising of awareness? Okay, you need to let go of the emotions that you're holding and that you don't need anymore, and just go with the flow. That's mainly what it is. You don't have to do anything because the angels are doing all the work. If your higher self has chosen to go to the next dimension, then the angels are doing the work. And they say, if your higher self decided that, you came in with a double body. You came in with a 3D body and a 5D body. And your innards are shifting from the 3D to the 5D. And that's why the angels keep coming in and shifting you a little bit, come in and shift you a little bit, come in and shift you a little bit. So you don't have to do anything to transition to the next dimension. So, and if your higher self chose not to go to the next dimension, that's okay. Just go with the flow and stay with the 3D, and we'll see what happens. I don't quite understand that angels have said that 3D will be supported, 5D will be supported. They'll support everybody, and you don't need to worry about anything. So, the thing I like is when we sense other people's thoughts, when we feel other people's feelings, then we also get to feel more joy just being alive. There's more heaven on earth. There's more peaceful feeling and more harmony. And people who don't feel like they're heard now will know that people are feeling them. They're feeling what they're feeling and understanding what they're feeling. And people will calm down. So I think that's the greatest part of our new dimension that's coming. So, the next question, our questioner said, or my co-host said, there's 3 questions pretty much the same. So, what we might experience or witness regarding the shift. Okay, I already talked about that. How we might best prepare spiritually, emotionally, or physically. I think I talked about that. And why is there an anticipated shift? Is there a shift in consciousness for all? Okay, so some people choose to stay in the experiencing world as it is, the 3D, and other people, their higher self has chosen to go to the 5th dimension. You don't have to worry about it. Already taken care of. And spiritually, you don't have to do anything except let go of the emotion and unneeded stuff that you've been holding. And that allows for space for your vibration to raise. And physically, you don't have to do anything. The angels are doing it all. And why is there an anticipated shift? Because I believe, and angels have said this, and spirit guides have said this, and hypnosis clients have said this, that we come to Earth to experience, and we face adversity in this 3D world. And how we overcome it is why we're here. And we don't have to be perfect, but you're here to experience. Well, this shift to a new dimension while you're incarnate, while you're in life, is a new experience for God to experience. And it's a new experience for us to experience. And we signed up for it. We signed up to come during this time. Whether you're staying in 3D or 5D, it's your experience of those lessons, those things that are going to happen, going with the flow, see what's going to happen. It's an adventure, a new ride. If you're old enough, the E-Ride in Disneyland. Okay. So right now, the veil is thinning. There's a wall sort of between heaven and earth. So we don't remember everything that we knew when we were in heaven. Because if we did, we'd probably try to exit right now. And also, we have the experience of not having our wonderful, fantastic brains that we have on the other side. We only have some of our smartness that we bring into Earth. And the veil is thinning now, so we'll be able to see through the veil. I had somebody contacted me just this week and said that they've been closing their eyes and they've been seeing the other side, and they've been seeing things, seeing spirits. Well, Francine, the spirit guide, said, close your eyes and think of looking through your eyelids, and you can see through the veil if you practice. So try that. So the veil is thinning, which means people will start seeing their spirit guides, start seeing angels. They will see more protectors. They'll be aware of their protectors. So just like spirit guides and angels, we each have one, a spirit guide, and we each have an angel that protects us. There are other protectors, often protectors from the elementals. So if you sense or see a dragon around you, then your protector is probably a dragon. So ask for your dragon to protect you. Task them to do that. Now, unlike angels, we have to ask for help every day because it's part of a code that was written in when we come to Earth. If we want help from angels, we must ask for that help every day. Whereas dragons or turtles or other protectors that come to you, you can just give them your request once, and then that remains. So I have a dragon that I have as a protector. You may have a giant or an elf or something else. And if you sense them, then ask them to help you, to protect you, to be with you. Now, we all have a totem animal. You can talk to them too. But I'm talking about extra protection that you may see, extra elemental protectors. And they're not physical in this plane, but they are spirit. And they're physical in their own plane, but you can see them through the veil. Okay. Now, you can see aliens through the veil. You can see dragons through the veil. So start practicing, if you wish, to see things through the veil. So just tell them, I want you to protect me. And that's all you need to do. So angels, your personal angel is going to protect you from anything that's not in your chart. So somebody tries to run through a red light, they're likely to help you stop the car. And if it's not in your chart, to be hit by a car. However, other things that happen, you have to ask for permission. You have to ask the angels to help you heal, ask the angels to help you get through the day more easily, ask them to give you more energy, whatever it is you want help with. You have to ask them specifically each day. Except your personal angel, who's making sure you're on your chart and nothing off your chart is affecting you. So if you're not choosing to go to the fifth dimension, then you're going to perceive the wave of energy that's coming, but you're not going to be in tune with it. It may make you irritable or upset. And actually, just the wave itself may make you irritable. But people moving to the fifth dimension will find the subtle changes and then allow it to flow, allow the higher energy to flow. So don't resist. When you feel that wave of energy, don't resist it. Just allow it. Just notice the changes. And there'll be subtle changes. You've probably already noticed changes, but after the wave comes, there'll be more changes in succession. So say, oh, you were tired a little bit last week and you were emotional a little bit this week. Instead, it may be today you're tired, tomorrow you're emotional, the next day you're irritable. The effects are subtle, but more often after the wave comes. So if you're feeling tired, take a nap. If you're feeling irritable, okay, let it move through you. If you're feeling emotional, let the emotions come up and then let it go. You may know the feeling or see it or sense it. If you need to cry or kick a box to get through this transitioning, go ahead. So just go with the flow. It's going to be baby steps, but after the wave, the steps will come quicker. So I believe that the wave will be soon. At first I got, somebody had said it's a dual, I think the angel said it's a dual remembrance. So I was thinking Easter and Palm Sunday. But somebody else said, I think it was Anne said, the two eclipses, solar eclipse and the moon eclipse. It doesn't really matter, but we just think that it's soon. So expect it soon. And we don't know if those repercussions are going to be just us or if it will affect the earth a lot also. Is that going to bring on the infrastructure change? Is it going to be bringing on the power grid change? We don't know. Because the specifics of when and which thing will affect which, I don't know. Not sure of it. Okay. Some people will accept and want to go to the fifth dimension. Some people would choose to stay in the third. So given that, say a family with small children, say 4 and 6 years old. Okay. And these kids decided to go to the fifth dimensions, but the parents did not. How does that scenario play out? Okay. Well, since it's charted, that they're going to be in the fifth and the parents are not, then the angels will take care of that. It's already charted. Maybe their uncle, their aunt, their next door neighbor, their best friend will take over and take care of them. It's okay. They wrote it in their chart what they wanted to experience in that transition. If their parents aren't going to go to the next dimension, it will be okay. So whatever they have in their chart, they've chosen to experience. Now, the kids coming in now, being born now, are already coming into the fifth dimension shift. So they already have their fifth dimension body in place. And they're already ready. They don't have to worry about the shift because they're already there. So that 4-year-old and 6-year-old don't have to worry about the wave. Well, we don't have to worry about it anyway. But they don't have to wonder about the wave, even though they're too little to be wondering, because they're already having a high enough vibration level that it doesn't matter for them. They're good. They're ready. They're all ready. So there's supposed to be a giant upheaval in the ocean, which I talked about, sort of by India, Mid-East area. And that split in the earth will release toxic gases. So the people that live around there need to stay inside until those toxic gases are dissipated. And I know I've been in that tsunami, and the effects of that, and I'm not sure if it's right then or if it's later, the effects, just like the volcano in Iceland, was sending out dust. And if you were around Mount St. Helens when it was sending out dust, that same kind of thing is going to go into the atmosphere and it will affect the weather. And the water that goes up during that event will help save the ozone layer. So it's all replenishing the earth and renewing the earth. And then we just need to worry about, okay, if we're in a food desert, then we need to plan on what we're going to do if there's no food being delivered to our region. And there'll be some time where it's difficult to get food, but there will be food. So people are going to start sharing and be more of a community. People are going to be more cooperative. People are going to be more friendly and kind because you can feel each other's feelings and know what each other is going through. So another thing that might be of concern is, I don't know if I talked about this when somebody asked about the border. If there's no food, some people will not have planned on food and they don't have any money. They may try to take some of your food. So maybe make sure you have locks on your door. Because this transition period between the start of the shift and the full shift, there'll be people who are not kind. They're the ones who perhaps need to find a different filter to be more kind to other people. And they may be trying to get food from people that in a way that's not polite. So there may be gangs of people looking for food. But if people are sharing food, that's helpful. But make sure you have some for your family and take care of yourself. And then you may have food to give to others. So if you're growing food in your backyard, you got lots of tomatoes, give out some tomatoes. So will there be another pandemic to the degree that the world experienced in the past? I know Sylvia Brown predicted that in 20 years there would be another one. But I see that as a possibility, but not a high possibility. I feel that there's more likely to be intermittent waves of the coronavirus coming back, but it won't be a global problem. And the probability is that it will just be a variance of the coronavirus, and that it will affect some areas and be intense for a while, but not long lived. Because people will be taking care of themselves and know what to do because of the last pandemic. And mainly the pandemic was to help people to shift. It's like you stop the record playing or stop the CD playing and then start again. It's like we stopped the direction of the world and then we're restarting. So it was allowed to happen because it served a purpose. So just like God allows negative things to happen and we experience those and overcome the adversity, well, the same thing in this global event, the pandemic. Okay, next question. Do you see this shift? A lot of future time lapses. So, for example, in our time, we have time and we go by Earth time, the clock in minutes, years, weeks. Do you see the shift where we can stop, be stopped, or even know it in advance? Go forward a day and even know it, not even know it. Okay, I'm getting this already happens. I've already felt this where it's like, okay, I'm a week ahead. I just filled out this weekly thing and now I'm filling out that weekly thing again. So, yes, there's a time shift. We know that things are ahead of us, but we need to try and be present. The angels have said, be in the present. If you're worried about the future and thinking about the future or looping back into the past about the yucky things that happened in the past, you're not experiencing the present. Be in the present. That's why they said go with the flow. Not to say, if somebody trips and falls and gets hurt, that you don't plan, to take care of them and put something in place for that. But otherwise, stay in the present. Be in the present. Experience it. We miss so much joy because we're so busy reliving the past and the yucky things that happened, or projecting into the future of, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And then you're not even seeing what's happening now. That stop and smell the roses. It's like, be there, be in the moment. So, if you're going to the fifth, they can work with your vibration more easily by putting you to sleep for a while. So, if you feel like taking a nap, then often you need to take a nap if you can, if you're not in the middle of your workday, and just let yourself assimilate the changes that are coming. And you're going to feel more timeless when we're in the fifth dimension. It's not anything to worry about because there really is no time. In reality, on the other side, there's no time. It's been described as a merry-go-round. Like, okay, you missed this concert. Okay, it's going to come around again. You missed this lecture. That's all right. It's going to come around again. So, kind of hard for us humans to see that or understand it, but there really is no time. So, now there's going to be a wave of light that comes, and that's the first inkling of the fifth dimension and the shifting. And you're probably feeling these things right now, these symptoms, these occurrences, but they're going to come in a quicker domino effect after the light comes. So don't be worried if any of these things you're experiencing now or you experience them after the wave of light. You may feel a subtle shift, changes in the way you feel or changes in the way you react. You may lose your balance. You may feel dizzy. You may feel like your body's racing, like you've been on a long car trip and then you stop and you get out and you're still moving. That feeling. You may feel like you're vibrating. You may feel like you're not in your body. You may feel suddenly you're taller, like your physical size has changed. You may feel like you need a nap. And remember, if you need a nap, that's probably your angels trying to get you to stop so that you can assimilate and take in the new vibration, take in the new frequency. So breathe. They keep telling us, angels keep telling us, breathe. Time shifts, catching up to yourself. You may feel like just you're not in the same time frame as yourself. You may have a foggy brain. You may feel subtle shifting in your mind, in your physical body. You may feel a difference in the quality of light around you, or the way you see things may change. So subtle shifts will continue. So before the wave of light, you may feel these occasionally. After the wave of light, you may feel one day, then the next day another one, the next day another one, the next day another one. And don't be upset about that. Just take a breath. Anytime you feel like there's some kind of shift, then take a breath and just relax and breathe into it. It's okay. It's a new experience, and you're on the e-ride at Disneyland. You're on the new adventure. You signed up for this new adventure. What is it? Raiders of the Lost Ark. You signed up to experience something no one's ever experienced before. Pat yourself on the back. You signed up for this new adventure. Now, people around you may be going, what is going on? And you can explain. They may not believe everything, but just tell them, breathe. It's just shifting of what's normal, and that's okay. Breathe in the new and breathe out the old. I know when I do hypnosis, I ask you to breathe in the positive and breathe out the negative. That's what we're doing. You're thinking about the emotions and unneeded thoughts, and you're letting them go. Experience them, look at them, examine them, and let them go so you can breathe in the new and breathe out the vestiges of the old. Allow yourself to do that. Breathing in the positive, breathing out the negative. Perception. Okay. So that's a lot. And there's more I could say, but I think that's enough for now. So just know you're okay. Our new normal will not be the old normal. Breathe in the positive and breathe out anything negative. Feel the emotions. If there's emotions coming up, think, okay, when did I feel this emotion? Okay, that bully, that's what it was. And also that mean aunt. Okay, so look at that, get upset with it, kick a box, go punch a pillow, go do a primal scream, cry, take a breath and let it go. Don't hold on to it anymore. Leave some space for the good to come in, higher vibration, higher frequency. Get rid of the yucky stuff and bring in the positive. So just breathe, go with the flow, be in the present. Don't reloop the past. Don't go into the future and spend all your time planning. Live in the moment. Not to say you can't plan, and please do. Please remember, put your energy into what you want. If you want to write a book, start doing it. If you want to create something new, start doing it. So don't stop your life because we're shifting. It's better to make sure you're going forward with your plans. So keep planning and moving forward, but don't live in the future. Live in the present. Enjoy the present. No, you've got the e-ticket. You've got the greatest Disneyland ride there is, or Raiders of the Lost Ark adventure there is. You signed up for it and we're here. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back and just go with the flow. No one knows what's going to happen for sure. This is a new beginning, which is why the angels call it the beginning. Never been written before, never happened before. And be open. The angel said, don't tie yourself into this little thing. Okay, you want to start a new business and you plan to the nth detail. Don't do that. Just put out the energy for your new business, decide what the focus is going to be, and don't plan to the nth degree, because miraculous, wonderful things that you've never even thought of are available to you. So let it flow. Go with the flow. Take a breath and breathe in the positive and breathe out the negative. Thank you for joining me today on this long adventure today. And I'm going to post the actual script, or the actual, what do you call that? I'm going to post the channeling that I did with the questions and the answers. I could also post the video probably. So I'll put that in chat. So when I have that descripted, then I will post it so that you can read it if you wish. And I'll put a summary up on my blog for people who just want the summary. Okay. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being patient. I'm sorry, my crazy life, I could not get on earlier. You'd think somebody was trying to stop me today, but I needed to get this out for you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And join me any Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we'll be back to the halls and temples on the other side. So we'll go visit another hall or temple on the other side, and we'll find out about that. So questions, put them in chat, and I'd be glad to answer them. Bye. Thanks.